Welcome to MelanatedMagikTV, and I am your host, Jessica X. Today, I'm going to talk about Christopher Darden. Christopher Darden. Where do we start? Before I did my commentary, I had to go and talk to my mom because when O.J. Simpson went to trial, I was a little one. Like, I can remember going into my grandma's house and walking into her living room, and I remember it was neighbors, everyone sitting in the living room watching the O.J. Simpson trial. One thing I can also remember is I was too young to really know what was going on, but I often remember my grandmama said Chris was a buck dancing coon. But I wanted to make sure, I talked to my mom. And my mom basically, confirmed what my grandma said, what I remember. She said, basically, Chris hated the black community. I don't know what had made him feel some type of way, because everyone has their reasons for cooning. Not saying cooning is good, but sometimes things happen to them, or they was raised a certain way to make them feel like cooning is okay. Cooning is never okay. Cooning is extremely dangerous. Cooning stopped a lot of the slave rebellions. But back to what I was saying. For Chris to take Eric Holder's case, it is insane. First thing first, who paid for this lawyer? I do not believe that Chris Darden took on his case pro bono. I do not believe that. All of the things surrounding this case is fishy. So let's rewind all the way back to March 31st. Eric pulls up. Word on the street is, they got into a little exchange or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. But let's fast forward to a little bit past that. I watched the TMZ tape multiple times. He walks up. I don't even know if he even spoke, but Nipsey had the white bandana on his head. He opens fire. He walks off. You can see Nipsey lift his head up and his arms up. He walks back, shoots some more. Walks off, comes back, shoots some more, kicks him in the head, walks off again, and gets in a car. He shoots Nipsey in broad daylight. A high-profile case in broad daylight. He walks and get into the car. The female driver is the getaway driver. She claimed that she didn't know what happened, that he was going to do that. And so apparently she's not locked up. But there's nowhere in history that I know of where a black female getaway driver drives a murderer away from a crime, a convicted felon murderer away from a crime, and she doesn't even get detained by the police. The only time I could even ponder that this makes sense in my head is if this female driver is some sort of officer. She doesn't necessarily have to work for LAPD, but I'm just saying that is about the only way. And even then, I don't see it. How she can drive someone to a crime and they murder someone and she's able to be out and about. So then, let's fast forward. We're looking for him. We know who he is. His picture was circulating around social media. Then the news put his picture on. Then we find him while he was trying to check into a mental hospital. We see the video of that. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say it was 2 officers. I didn't really watch the tape because to me, when I initially saw it, to me, it just looked really, really fishy. I'm like, okay. It just looked weird. And I can't even explain it, but my intuition says something is way off about that tape, way off about this whole situation. And I am never wrong when I say something is off. If something is off, it's off. Dude gets arrested. He goes to court. His bail is initially set at $7 million. Since when does a murder suspect gets bail? I've never heard of that. Even though it's high bail, it's bail. Then his bail gets reduced to $5 million. Again, how does this suspect, this man, gets bail? So he has a high-profile lawyer who is he's a former prosecutor. And if I'm not mistaken, I want to say his net worth is around $4 to $5 million. So I don't see him taking this case on for free. This man was a former prosecutor, so that means he knows how the DA is going to prosecute this case. And now he's a lawyer, so he knows the inner workings of both systems on how it works. Again, who paid for this lawyer? Why is the getaway driver walking around free? Why was they able to get away in LA? Seriously. If you've never been to LA, it's very, very similar. It's a really big city with a bunch of neighborhoods inside of it. It's very similar. I'm just saying, not city-wise, but I'm saying how it's set up. It's very similar to how Miami is this really gigantic city with these neighborhoods and sub-cities within the big city. Yeah, it's set up like that. And if you've been in any big city, I've been to LA before. I've lived in Miami. I've lived in the DMV area, which I've lived in Maryland. I lived in Virginia. Traffic is traffic, no matter where you live at. Traffic is traffic. So I can only imagine on a Sunday. So how did they get away? Traffic like that, the police is able to walk up and knock on your door, your car door, to arrest you with that type of traffic. A lot of people saying, trying to make it seem like, oh, it's gang related, oh, it's the nigga hating, this, that, and the third. Let's not forget COINTELPRO. Nipsey's family, his own family is saying that his brother is saying he think this is a hit. And if his family is questioning this, we should be questioning it too. It is disrespectful of us to go against their family and say, nah, you just tripping, man. You just tripping. They family know them the most. So if their own family is saying this seems like a hit, it doesn't have to do, it may not have anything to do with Dr. Sebi at all. But you got to think about it like this. I've heard numerous times from very credible sources. I've even heard it on Tyreek. Who else? Willie D show that the man was being raided at his store constantly by the police. He hired a lot of felons. He had a no-gun policy. Because of the felons, he did not want to get caught up. But the police are out here pretending like, they love this man, this, that, and the third. Listen, let me tell y'all how things work when it comes to cities and crimes and all this and that. And police department. In order for the police department to make any type of money and for the officers to be able to work, there has to be a steady flow of crime. And if you do not have a steady flow of crime, that means you don't get to come and clock in. So if crime is up, that means you're able to work, get overtime. They're able to hire more people, which is more income, more grants from the government. It is a steady flow of income. So if you have someone who is coming in and changing things and making your high crime areas your money making areas, because these officers are going in, and then not on top of that, you have these crime areas where the officers, not only do they get to work, they get to arrest people, and when they arrest people, that is a stream of revenue. Whenever you go into a jail, they get money on you. When you go to prison, they make money on you. They also put life insurance on you. They make money off of you. The commodity is in the body, the crime. You commit, even if your crime, listen, they put us in situations for a reason, to make us do certain things or whatnot. That's why they have these area called projects, because it's literally a project. And what this project has done is made it where life is a certain type of way and you get a certain type of result, which hence the police get to come in and, they're arresting people. That's money for the city. When the ones is going to prison, that's money for the prison owners. It's money for the county. It's money for everybody. So if you have someone coming in and bonding these people who are normally shooting at each other and trying to knock each other heads off, and he comes in, and instead of these people fighting, he have all of these different gangs and sets banding together, working as one, calling a truce, then guess what? That is an issue. An issue. A lot of people think that the government assassinating people is over. No, it's not. This may not be an assassination from the federal government. This could be a local thing. But you got to look at it like this. Too many facts around this case does not smell right. And I've always been told, where there's smoke, there's fire. And if something does not look right, then it's not right. Something isn't right. We need to keep asking questions. We do not need to just be okay with this little narrative. We need to ask questions on, how is this man able to afford this lawyer? We also need to ask, why was he given a bond? Somebody could bond him out. And people are going to say, no, who's going to get that amount of money? It's only 10%. 10%. Think about it like this. Somebody bailed R. Kelly out, not once but twice, and then paid his child support. Really think about this. Is somebody, because I guarantee you, Chris Darden did not take this case on pro bono. Somebody paid him. And for a lawyer like that, listen, regular lawyers retained for a whole, for the whole murder case or whatnot, this is the whole case, maybe $5,000 to $10,000. But for him just a retainer for this type of lawyer, this high profile lawyer. We call these super lawyers. That's what they're called, super lawyers. The retainer alone is going to cost you anywhere between $10 to $15, maybe even $20,000. That's not including all of the work he's going to put in, mileage, research, all of this, everybody else that's going to be on the case. This is going to be a multi-million-dollar case. So who's going to be paying, footing this bill to hold this lawyer? Even if it's not a multi-million-dollar case, it's going to be close to it. Close. Because lawyers charge you for everything. I've had a lawyer when I was in a car accident. Believe me, I've seen a few bills. And with this being a high profile case, yeah. He's going to charge him. So, question again. Who paid the money to retain this lawyer? Who? No, not who. Since when have you heard of a getaway driver not being arrested and just being okay? A black getaway driver. Another question. When have you seen law enforcement go pick up a murder suspect and have just two people? They don't even shoot them. They didn't beat them or none of that. And then there's other issues too. Like I've seen pictures where it looked like in one picture the traffic is flowing. In another picture they stop the traffic. It's just a bunch of little things going on with this case, and it does not sit right. And all I'm going to say, remember, when the government takes you out, they don't use a white person. Really think about it. They use your own. Just how with with Malcolm X, all these years we assumed that our own took him out. Our own, but they didn't even give them bullets. They gave them blanks. They went in and shot from the ceiling. Really think about it. So who's to say that they didn't just pay him? Because I've heard conflicting stories about dude, they had an argument. Another one, they didn't even argue. Dude just come up and, just bust or whatever. Dude supposed to bring a CD back. So who's to really say? All I want to know is, I want to know what the two survivors are going to say when they wake up. That's what I want to know. I just feel so sorry for Lord London and the kids. I really feel sorry for his brother, his mom, and his dad. I feel sorry for the whole family. I know last night, I really prayed real hard for his family. And not just his family. I prayed really hard for the whole family. Like, sometimes I get really, really frustrated, like seeing us go through this. It's just hard to keep seeing how we're being treated and abused and just done. Like, it's so crazy that when I read the Bible, I know that the 400 years is over. Like, that's in Genesis, what is it? I want to say 15:13. I know 400 years is over with. But I do know for Jacob, it's going to be trouble. It's going to get a lot worse. And I'm sitting here and I'm wondering, are we going through Jacob's trouble now, or is it going to get worse? Like, right now, it's already bad for us. Like, it's so bad that, like, I can't even explain it. It's bad all the way around. Our babies are getting it. Our elders are getting it. People in my age group are getting it. Like, they killing our babies. Like, I just wonder sometimes. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on. All I want to say is, open your eyes. Never forget, history is going on before our eyes. And history is his story. His story meaning that it's the story that they want us to believe. So you have to open your eyes to see really what's going on. And research. There's nothing wrong with researching. If something smells like shit, it's normally shit. Rest in peace, Nipsey. And I pray that your family have the people they need to have around them, the support, so that they can grieve properly. That's all I have for tonight. Y'all have a good night, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I am your host, Jessica X. Have a good night or day.